Off the bench with RASI Sports.
Hello and welcome back to Off the Bench with RASI Sports, episode 18. My name is Ron Abrahi, and also here with my co-host, Coach Ron, Keem, and also Coach T. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, brothers.
Good
Doing
night.
good.
Happy to
Still
have you.
alive. Still alive.
All right, that's great. All right, so today's episode is a special one. We're taking a look at some of the most watched clips from the show on social media, the moments that got people talking, sharing, and debating. And instead of just replaying the clips, we're going to open the floor and give our thoughts, reactions, and deeper perspective on why these moments resonated with so many people in the sports community, whether you're a player, coach, or parent. These topics hit home, so let's get into it. Segment 1, Coach resigns to be present for his kids.
So in this clip, fellas, this is Coach Williams that was on here. And he mentioned and we spoke about how, he's given up coaching this year and, until, his kids are of age, but apparently we got a lot of hits on this one. And like to get your thoughts on it. He's given up coaching to be with his kids.
I love my family more than coaching.
There you go.
And I have a commitment as a husband and a father. You get one chance to do it the right way. You get one shot. And my son is 9 and my daughter is 7. And I'm laying in bed. It's about 1:30 in the morning on a Wednesday night in April. And I'm texting an agent in Spain about a player in Croatia. And the light bulb came on in my head. What am I doing? I got a little boy over there that's going to want to go to the gym tomorrow. I didn't go with him today because I had practice. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And family is the reason. That's the only reason. People will tell you as a young coach, don't go into coaching if you're chasing money, because money might not come. Everybody sees they see the Floridas and the Dukes and the Carolinas and the Kentuckys and the Kansases. Those guys are making life-changing generational money as coaches, okay? Well, there's 50 to 60 jobs like that. All the rest of the jobs is not life-changing generational money, but it's life-changing time commitment still. And that's all the way down to the Division III, NAIA, JUCO. Like, I'm telling you right now, those junior college coaches in Florida spend as much time and work just as hard as the guys in the SEC. Okay, they just don't have the resources or the salary.
Right.
Okay, and so those high school coaches down there in Florida, taking their teams around and AAU and summer ball, those dudes are committed, man.
Yeah.
And that is a full-time commitment if you do it the right way. And so while I love coaching, I could no longer look at myself in the mirror, and I wanted to give my son and my daughter what my dad gave me when he was the head coach for that CBA team, and he resigned his job and took a high school job so he could raise me. And so family became more important than my passion of coaching. My passion was replaced with the passion for my family. And that's the only reason I got out. That's the only reason.
Oh, let me ask you this, because you just stated that what your dad did.
Yeah, I thought that was very inspiring to listen to his story regarding that, especially the part where he said he was at home and he's looking at his phone at 1 a.m. helping agents and kids, like his people he coached, and then he thought about it. He was like, he thought about his actual kids. He was like, I gotta help my actual kids. What's going on here?
Nah, I mean that's true. I can relate. When we had our Dynamite tee, I don't know if you remember that, but like when we had Dynamite, man, I remember a dude like just being in the gym all the way until like 10, 11 o'clock because parents wasn't coming picking up their kids. So yeah, I ain't mad at him. I mean, like, yo, dude, I mean, I gotta take care of home first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just one of those things, bro. Like home is always number one.
Right. And especially from the perspective, from my perspective as a father, yeah, absolutely. You have to make decisions that are going to, take care of the home front first. Because, yeah, if you can't take care of home, then, yeah, home's going to shatter. And then as you're trying to pick up the pieces from home, everything else that been holding up, that's going to start shattering too, so you have to have the ability to, make the best decision for, you have to sometimes sacrifice and make the best decision for your family. And I commend it. My hat's off to him for it.
Nah, for real, dude. I mean, I like I said, we was getting home at 11 o'clock. King, I'm gonna just drop some gems on you because you got young kids here. But when you get into this coaching thing, bro, I really you have to make sure one, you got to make sure your better half, your wife, is on board. That's number one because it's so demanding of your time. And like what a lot of coaches don't understand, young coaches, I would say, don't understand is that like the time that's spent in the gym is taken away from her and the kids, you know what I mean? And what helped me out was that my wife understood the game and she understood the long hours. But what made me realize it was that, I was blessed with smart kids. So like they got their homework done and all of that. But when they're at that middle school and high school age, they need that rest. You know what I mean? And we getting home. I live like an hour plus away from the gym. My kids were getting home late. So like that was hurting them. They get up in the morning. You remember that, Ronald?
By the time we made it home, it was like 12 o'clock. We're getting ready to get in bed.
Yeah, like I
Yeah, I
mean, we
feel
need
like
McDonald's.
that really hit for me home too, because it feel like I would call it unintentional neglect, not in a bad way, but it's like you always feel like there's enough time in the day and time is just fly by. You'd be like, oh, I could do it tomorrow, and next thing you know, a whole 6 months done pass. And you'd be
Yeah.
like, you trying to work it out, trying to figure it out. And so I understand it and I don't blame him. I give him salutes. He did the right choice. I'll do the same thing too if I had all the cards on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him.
And the good thing with him, I mean, he's still young, so that doesn't mean that his career is over. It just has to, he got two young ones at home. So I mean, take care of your kids at home, and when they're of age, you can get back to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look, and that concept of unintentional neglect, that's a bar, man. And unfortunately, that unintentional neglect is the time when your children are sometime, man, at their most vulnerable,
Yeah, they need you.
questionable age. So yeah, that unintentional neglect can be a real landmine if you're not careful with it. So yeah, that's big respect to that.
Yeah, big up, big up, big up. I give him a lot of credit, and that's probably why one of the reasons why he got a lot of hits.
Definitely.
That's big ups to him.
That transcends the game. That touches down to the humanness of it all. Because it's like, as much as I love the game, as much as I love helping these kids over here, how does it look when I get my final report back and my kids are telling me, out of all the people you help, you miss helping right here at home. Yeah, that's a horrible thing to face. On your report card, as a father.
It is, yeah. You don't want to hear that. I think there was some commercials. Dad, you wasn't here. You know what I mean? Or was it something else? I don't know, but I don't want to hear that from my kids. Like I wasn't
Like
there.
it was
You know what
that
I'm saying?
song, Daddy wasn't there.
Right. Nah, that's not going to be in my household, brother. Not with this coaching thing. I love it, but I love my family first.
That's true.
For sure.
Segment 2, from spectator to coach.
All right, so you guys tell me what you think about this segment. This was basically Ronald's journey into coaching and even yours as well, Coach T. So let us know what your thoughts about this right here after this this. I'm never gonna call the guy out, but there was a gentleman I'll never forget, and I guess your journey started my journey as well as a coach as well. I'll tell you what I remember. I remember, like you said, chasing the wristband and the guy sitting down there with his legs crossed with a newspaper in his hand, telling, yeah, go have fun, go have fun. And I'm like, yo, what is this guy doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way, but that's when I stepped up and I'm like, hey man, we need to teach these boys how to play some basketball. you know?
Yeah.
And what? That next season, I started coaching.
Yeah,
So
I remember
how was that for you when I started coaching you, son?
when you started coaching. I mean, it put a little bit. I mean, there was pressure, but it was. I was learning how to play finally because I was actually making points.
No,
No,
so I don't know. I keep hearing you saying points. Was basketball all about points for you?
I mean, at that time frame, I mean, there wasn't no passing. I was trying to figure out how to score.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yeah. Nah. So yeah, I remember that. How many years did you play at the Y? I mean, I know how many years you played, but let's tell the people how many years you played at the Y before, you started going off to like travel ball and getting a little more serious.
I
Some of your
remember,
recollection.
if I remember, it was like I stopped playing at like was it like third grade, so it was like 4 years maybe, close
About
to
four
that.
years?
I think like 12 I stopped, if I remember
Man, we
correct.
we was at the YMCA that long? No, I don't think so. We only stayed at the Y for about a year and a half before we started Team Dynamite. So basically, I had to step up to be a coach because I love the game and I didn't want to see someone sitting there having kids running up and down the court, not teaching them the proper fundamentals and the game. It wasn't that he was a no good person or didn't know what he was doing. He just didn't put the effort into teaching the coaches. So yeah, I had to step up to teach not just the kids, but my son too, because my son was out there. So this one hits me hard because hey, it's about me, right? But yeah, that actually started the journey, and I mean, yeah, I just it's just something about coaches who don't care.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
I don't
that's
know.
me.
I
I
feel
care.
it's more like a 50-50 with me, because it'd be like you want them to learn how to just go have fun, but you also want them to get better as well because you just want them to go out and have fun because you don't want to build a bad personality where they start quitting during the games and all of this and all of this. But I do understand you still want this coach to put effort in to make them better. So I feel like I understand
Yeah, but dude, you gotta
50-50
understand, my
both
guy.
sides.
I
Nah, nah,
understand.
nah, nah.
I
Dude, you
understand.
gotta understand. This cat was sitting there, brother, with a newspaper at one game, bro. He was sitting there with a newspaper, literally reading the newspaper, saying, "Oh yeah, go chase them." Because back in the YMCA, right? I don't know if you remember this, T, but back in the day, they used to have to wear these like yellow, blue, and orange wristbands, and they had to wherever that person went, that other player had to go. That's how they was playing defense. You know what I mean? So he was just sitting there with the paper. Yeah, chase him. I'm like, bro. Like, nah, I can't, nah. I was like, nah, man, I gotta step up. I mean, I knew the game, you know what I'm saying? So like, I gotta teach these kids how to dribble the ball, how to pass the ball, how to catch the ball, nevertheless,
Yeah,
how to catch the ball, nevertheless.
yeah.
I mean, so that clip for me, it hits home because I mean, that's just how I got started. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, I thought that clip was crazy because I mean, it would. I mean, if you never stepped up, I would have still been bad at basketball.
Mhm.
Facts,
That would have been good at
facts,
all.
facts.
Yeah, yeah, that clip brings back some some nostalgic times for myself. It wasn't my absolute start, but it was my first start actually out here in the state of Florida. And
Okay.
so yeah, my intention was always to make sure that I first made the job easier for the next coach, which means that, I was really, you know, concentrating on getting the kids the right information, making sure they understood it and then knew how to implement it. You know what I mean? And so I think being real intentional about that because like you said, not only was I coaching, your kids, I was also coaching my kids at the time,
Right.
so yeah, I'm gonna give them the, what I'm saying, the A+ type of service. you know, I ain't ready to give my kids bad information. So yeah, but so by default, everybody else, who's under it just kind of, yeah, they just kind of got that by default.
Mm.
Because yeah, man,
Listen,
I
I'm
gotta
gonna be real
give what
with
I
you.
can give.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you because you just stated that you wanted to do it for the next coach. I'm gonna just be honest. When I first got started, I mean, I didn't know I was gonna be where I'm at today. You know what I mean? Back then, I was a young dude having kids. That didn't sound right, but you understand. But my thing is I'm a perfectionist when it comes to certain things, you know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna teach something, do it right. You know what I mean? So for the next coach or for whomever, nah, I want to do it for the kid because yo, we could have just went to the park and just run up and down the court. These parents were paying for this.
There
So
you
give them something.
there you
You know
go.
what I mean? Give them something worth paying for, not just running up and down the court where they could have went to any court to do that for free.
You're paying a lot of over $100 to watch your kid run up and down.
Right. Paying over $100 to just run up and down. You could have done that at the gym. I mean, at the park. So it's like, I felt like as I was giving back to the parents and the kids as well. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
From my perspective, until of course, when I realized like, wait a minute, I'm actually good at this, and the kids are actually learning, the kids are actually getting better. Yeah, then I started taking it a little more serious. You know what I mean? Then I started
And I
taking it a little
think
more serious.
and I think that by default makes the job easier for the next coach. Because imagine if you was that
Yeah.
new newspaper toting coach and you was just pushing kids off to the next program. Yeah, you're gonna be like, man, what kind of headache program did you come from?
Facts. But then again, Coach, we were talking about the YMCA back then, you know what I mean?
Hey, listen,
So
man. Yeah, well, that bad basketball gene done spread to more than just the Y. It's out here on everything.
At this
nah,
point, it's
hey, you ain't never lied on that, brother. You were so true on that. That is so true. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get here to segment 3. College recruiting. Avoid this coach's mistake. This is probably one of the hugest ones.
Listen, this one, the other two got for some reason, I don't know how, but they got a lot of hits. But this one, I think went viral for a minute on Instagram. And it was about it was about Coach Reese talking about watching out for the coaching's mistakes far as recruiting. And he spoke a lot of truth, but some people had some things against it, and it caused a lot. It caused a lot of back and forth. You know what I mean? But on
Mhm.
my take on it, it really hits home. You know what I mean? So take a
I'm gonna
look.
use what I tell my son. Like, it's cool with the assistant coach, but assistant coach ain't making no. When you go to the games, watch to see if the guy that's recruiting you have a voice on the bench during the game. If he ain't said nothing during the game, then you're being recruited by the wrong guy. Because no matter how much he likes you, the head coach is subbing you in. And to be honest, the head coach is only listening to maybe one and a half people over there on that bench.
Wow, man, that dude, you just hit some nerves on that one because it is the truth. I mean, you know, you know, you could be recruited by many people, but of course, if that person who doesn't have that head coach's ear, yeah, you're right. They're not really paying attention to you. They just keeping, you're just a warm body for practice, really. So nah,
Yeah.
that statement is that is factual for real.
Like, enjoy the visits,
Yeah,
but
enjoy that.
that
Eat that
ain't that
steak
ain't
dinner.
that ain't one thing they can't lie and put the dog and pony show in a real game.
That's so true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest, that's the most valuable advice I can give somebody during the recruiting process.
Okay.
So here it is. I'm a parent. I got my kid, and he's being recruited by about five different coaches, schools, and stuff. You know, now, okay, I'm gonna just use me for instance, right? I'm strong-minded, and I know, what I really want for my kids, and my kids know what they want to do. But someone like me, would you let me make that decision, or would you kind of like, hey, Ron, let me pull you to the side and give me the real on what you think? Like, are you able to do that with a lot of the parents, and do they respect you in that aspect to listen?
Yeah, well, my parents listen to me because they know I done been in this situation for 15 years.
Right,
So they trust that I will give them the right advice. I'm never gonna tell a parent where to go, but I will tell a parent like I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? So,
right.
and Ron knows this. Like, the hardest decision that I've been doing it 15, 16 years.
Mhm.
Hardest decision was going through it with my son. That, like, listen, I done been at the table with a lot of guys, but it's nothing like going through it with your son
Yeah.
and and him making the decision.
So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought he was definitely giving a lot of gems when he was speaking during that video. He was definitely explaining how sometimes if you're getting it, you're speaking to the assistant coach and he's not speaking to the coach. What's going on?
Right. I mean,
Not like he got no pull or no nothing anyway. So
Exactly.
so I'm gonna just keep it real because like one of the things that I started doing, I started going through all the the comments. I started the kids actually told me this. When you see something that got a lot of likes and you see all the comments, start reading the comments. I don't know if you guys ever do that, but yo, dude, it is funny. But I'm gonna tell you this: it got hit by some well-known coaches.
Yeah.
It got hit. You know what I mean? And one of the coaches was like, one of the coaches stated that I'm not gonna call the names, but one of the coaches stated that that's not necessarily true on what he's saying. Sometimes, the assistant coach might not say nothing in front of everyone, but in the back, that's where they have their powwow. You'd agree to that. But having kids in college playing college ball in a couple of few different organizations, I do feel as if that I do feel as if that if that coach that's recruiting you don't have no pull, you will know because it dictates in the playing your time on the court, especially if you feel as your kid is better than the other, right? Even though I would say you should never think that your kid is better than someone else because it's the coach's discretion. But politics is real in the game of basketball, isn't it? It's real.
Right.
So you can tell when coach don't got the pull that he said he has, especially saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, he promised you this, he promised you that," and when you get there, you really don't get it. That happens.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and and I kind of look at it kind of like listening to him. Basically, what he's saying, I'm trying to give my kid an edge, where I can give it to him.
Right.
One of the things that a lot of kids aren't equipped with is the ability to analyze who it is that they're talking to, analyze what it is that they're seeing, be able to interpret things from the outside looking in. Being observant is not a bad trait to have. Being able to analyze a situation, seeing what the hierarchy is. You have to learn how to read the room in this life that we live. So being able to see, who's pulling strings, who's not, who's talking a little bit more than they are. You know what I mean? Because everybody has it, or a lot of people, most people have an ego that that lives within them, that lives to exist. So some people do stroke their own ego at times, and you don't want to be the victim of somebody's big headedness, and then you miss a possible opportunity. So
Right.
being able to see where your opportunities can be and being willing to move in that direction, I'm not mad at that at all.
Nah, not at all. I mean, I always like that. I had a guy ask me the other day about his son, and I told him, and I think it's true. You have to have a coach on the coaching staff that's going to advocate for your kid, right? So his statement is true to a certain extent that, you have to be careful, but if that guy is really recruiting you and he might not have coach's ear like maybe the number one coach, assistant, associated head coach. But like one of the coaches said, like the other coach said, in the back, they have their meeting. You know what I mean? So he might not be saying it in forefront, but if he's that adamant on recruiting you to that program, I'm sure he has to be, advocating for you in the background.
Yeah.
So that's like a catch-22. You don't know what you're getting until you actually experience it.
Until you go through it.
I mean, am I wrong for that?
No, 'cause you really don't know until you get there. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't.
I mean, like, okay, let's be real. Let's be straight up. Let's talk real talk here for a minute, right?
The employers and the employees lie these days.
Right. Right. So it's the same thing here. You know what I mean? Like these dudes just know that this kid is a good player, so he's gonna say and do whatever it takes to get you there, right? So now, but if he has the coach's ear or not is another story. But that's something that you gotta have faith with that he does some way, shape, or form, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so he got a lot of hit, but I think he caused a lot of
Mhm.
turmoil a little bit.
Back and forth with that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh?
I said there was a lot of back and forth with that one. Everybody was going.
Yeah, that one had a lot of back and forth because I mean,
and sometimes, man, what happens is, as we listen to podcasts and and hear different opinions and things, sometimes, man, people hear their number being called in the content, and if once upon a time, you was being kind of sideways with a kid somehow and you didn't give them the opportunity that they should have, and he's saying, yo, make sure that you ain't talking to the wrong person. He could be like a pastor talking to somebody in the pews.
facts. Because I'm not even gonna lie to you, because I had somebody speak to me. Matter of fact, just the other day, he was like, "Yo, I love what Coach said because that's happening to his kid right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The coach promised him and talked him up, but he's not getting no play time. You know, his minutes gone down. You know, he's not doing well. You know what I mean? And he blames it on the coach, you know, gaslighting him a little bit. You know what I mean?
But that
Hey, listen, I'm gonna be real with you, okay? This is where my coaching hat comes in, right? You can blame the coach, but you gotta look at the player too sometime, man. Like, is your kid really doing what he's supposed to do for the head coach to notice him or not?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna push your envelope a little further. I think you need to be 100% committed to what's going on, you know, because if you come in there half stepping, yeah, that's just enough room for somebody to pass you up and take that
Right,
spot.
exactly.
You know, if you get complacent and you know your field goal percentage starts slumping and you know your effort to get that 50-50 ball starts slumping, well, nobody's gonna just ignore that.
Right.
So yes, the player has to be accountable too, you know, and just make sure that you're giving your 110%. That way, you know, it shouldn't be no question from any other area.
That's true.
I tell you, brother, I tell you, there's a lot of schools doing that analytic stuff, bro. They looking strictly at numbers. They don't care how athletic you are.
They're
They're
looking
looking
at
at your efficiency rates.
plus minus, your 3-point percentage. You're looking at a lot of different things.
Yeah. So you got to be, you know, these parents got to be honest. And his statement was a bold one, but at the same time, you know, that's not always the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess nothing is ever, I guess, 100% truth since everybody has opinions.
Facts. Facts. Hey, listen, facts. All right.
You had a lot of good points in there. Also, another one he was talking about was also enjoy the recruiting trips because some people don't. You gotta enjoy it.
Listen, we went to Marshall, bro. He took us to this restaurant and we had the best steak I had in I don't know how long, bro. So yes, the visits are straight. Go on the visits. Let me stop.
Look, and not to harp back too much to what I was saying, but you know that's inside baseball. That's basically marketing, learning how to market yourself, networking.
Facts.
You know how to get along and work with other people. So yeah, it's a lot of inside baseball that I think a lot of these kids can learn from. You know, because the NIL deals are, you know, they're going to be somewhat attached to your personality. You know, to how you convey yourself and how you express yourself. You know, so you know, learn how to control and create your own narrative and move how you want to move and be seen how. You know, create the story that you want to create. Yeah, that stuff is kind of listen to some of these YouTubers and some of these streamers out here doing what they do when they talking the game. Because that your NIL money might be able to take a boost.
It does. It makes a difference. That's for sure. It makes a difference, especially at the high level basketball.
We're gonna get here to segment 4. Stay humble, hungry, and let your game do the talking.
So in this segment, we had the boys on here and Ciara talk about you know, just kind of their experiences and you know, the recruitment and stuff like that. So take a look.
You played 2A, bro.
Nah, but yo, don't front
2A still hard.
schedule,
2A
man.
still hard,
I
man.
don't
You
want to
guys
hear
play
that.
some
Don't
you guys
front
play
on the
some good
schedule.
teams, man. You guys beat a lot of good teams.
Stop clowning, man. Stop clowning.
I think I said it the wrong way. That's not what I meant.
Yeah, please clarify.
That's not really like
clarify.
I said it the wrong way. That's not what I meant. But what I meant to say was like I think like in high school, especially with all three of us playing, I think there was like some times where we did get overlooked. And I think the best thing that we did was not feed into it, but just play our game and let, like Ciara said, she's gonna let her game do the talking. We let the game do the talking, and then at the end of the day, when the season's over and we look back on how everybody did, it's like, wow. Like, wow, just man, they really cooked like that, or they really did that during that season. And just like if you stick to like what you got going on, stick to just working and just keep your head low, the rest will pay out. Like we ain't like none of us here are the cocky type. We're the humble but hungry. And I think that's what made us successful and where we are now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just say, and I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, a lot of people don't understand all the accolades that you guys, all the things that you guys accomplished, you know. I gotta keep shining on C because, you know, right now she has a college that's looking at her, you know, and so I'm gonna let you start it off, Ronald, because I want to hear your take on what they said.
I mean, I thought they had some good. They were saying some good information. They first off, they were starting off saying that the two-way basketball wasn't like elite, but I mean, they played good. They all played good teams, in my opinion.
Well, see, and that's what I, Florida is different than a lot of different states, right? But well, actually, let me take that back. No, they're not. Because a lot of states have their class like 1A, 2A, 3A, yada yada yada, because of the size of the schools and stuff. But the one thing about OCP, even with the girls, they play some legit teams. The boys played, I think when the boys played, I think out of the 4 years AJ was there, they played maybe 2 or 3 years of a national schedule.
Mm.
And to his point in the beginning of it, that they played 2A. Yeah, you played 2A. So when you came back home and you had to play, your state and your regional and stuff like that, yeah, you blew them out. But you played against the Mount Birds at the time, all those national teams, you played against them. Yeah, you won some, you lost some, but you played against the elite of the elite teams. And far as like their recruiting and stuff goes, sometimes, because you're in a 2A school, some people didn't really, well, I can't say that about OCP because a lot of people knew about OCP nationally, because that was a national team. But for the girls on Ciara part, I loved when she stated she let her game do the talking, because for the girls it was just a little different at OCP. And I mean, for God's sake, she scored 2,000 points. You know what I mean? And nobody knew who she was, except for locally. You know what I mean? And but just the other day, she's getting recruited by a school, and he brought it to my attention, which I forgot that she was a McDonald's All-American nominee, which is huge. You know what I mean? So to prove a point, you don't need everybody talking about you because you doing it on the court, and that's what she stated. You know what I mean? And that's what the boys were trying to allude to in this clip. That we need our game to show what we all about. And I'll be honest with you, I really think, especially AJ, I think AJ was under recruited. You know, he had some players on the team that got a little more looks than him. But if it wasn't for AJ, I'm gonna just keep it 100. If it wasn't for AJ doing what he was doing, that team wouldn't have scored as much points as they did.
No, they would have.
You know what I
The
mean?
point totals wouldn't have been as high as they were.
No, it wouldn't have. And I don't even think we win without him, to be honest with you. I'm
Would
gonna
have
just
been
keep it 100.
easier to key on easier to key on the other players. They just
Yeah,
had
it's
a lot
easier to
of
key on them. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
You don't think he should have
So
tooted his horn a little more to the coach?
nah, because for what? You know what I mean? Like, because you do that, first of all, first of all, yeah, I don't think so. Because again, when you a humble king, you know what I mean, and people know you good and you know you good, but you keep it humble, you let the other people do all the talking around you, man, and they'll do the talking to the coach for you. You know what I mean? So if the coach is not doing something right, trust me, they hear about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, if the coach want to do something about it or not, that's totally up to the coach, right? But I have you know that, like, if AJ wasn't on OCP on majority of those years, you know what I mean? They wouldn't been as successful as they have been. And I'm saying that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Not taking nothing away from those other kids. It's just his humbleness and what he did to that team made him that much better.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all with that. I mean, he made a lot of them better, and then he made also a lot of them work harder because his work ethic was wild.
His work ethic was crazy. Like, coach told me there was not one what do you call that? Wind sprints that they had to do that he came in second place. He never lost.
And think about
AJ's
it.
not the fastest dude.
Not the fastest. I was about to say that. He's not even
He's
that
not
fast.
the fastest dude. So yeah, I agree with that statement. You know what I mean? I agree with it wholeheartedly. Like, you have to, be humble and hungry, plain and simple.
I feel like you gotta toot your horn, but you can't let your ego outshine your game. That's it. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, you don't want to be out there looking arrogant, bro. You know what I
That's what
mean?
I'm saying. They can't outdo your game. Not I'm saying do it in a nasty way. You could be it in a positive way. You know, they don't gotta be
Look,
negative.
See,
but I think
I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna just say this.
what is
These coaches have pride, bro. You know what I mean? These coaches, they want you, especially if you're a kid, they want you to stay in that position. So, and I might be wrong on how I'm saying this, but like, they don't want to hear a kid that they're supposed to be teaching come up to them and say, hey, coach, I'm this guy.
Yeah, no, they don't. You know, a lot of the
They don't want to
coaches,
hear that.
especially high school, it's hard to.
Yeah, especially high school coaches. Even in college, you can't even say a word about it.
you know what,
But
man?
what is it doing to the child?
It's teaching them how to be humble because if a kid go to the league, you understand? They're not telling the coach what they want. Only person that's getting away with it is LeBron, right? Because he's the face of the league.
Yeah, you got to be
But
the
you
face.
think those guys are sitting there telling the coach what they want and when to play? Nah, that's in their contracts, yeah.
They're
But
doing it from Tracy McGrady's time, not LeBron.
no, but what I'm saying is though, like these dudes are saying that, but they're not getting the play time, bro. You know what I mean? The coaches ain't going for that. You want to be the man? You could go over there and be the man.
Yep.
If that coach wants you, let you do that, you go ahead. You go over there and do that.
And why do you think there's a lot of big NBA, good NBA players? They're right now in the G League because they can't accept their role.
Except in their role. Facts.
A lot of people can't accept their role.
I you know, I kind of want to liken the whole. There's a formula that has to happen. You know, the confidence does have to be there. You know, so you can't ignore that component. The humble. You know, which means your ability to be coachable, your willingness to learn, your willingness to grow. You know, that's another component. So as players, I think you have to be more like a stick shift kind of car. You know, at one point, you got to be in that first gear, and you have to be a little cocky to get your confidence up. But then at some points, when the confidence start rearing too high, you got to hit and shift gears, and now fall back into your selflessness. You know, if you
I'm gonna
will.
say this, coach. There's a difference between cocky and confident, though, brother.
Right. But I think what happens is there's a runway, in order to get to, elite level or elite status. And on that runway, you're gonna have to look into yourself, and you're gonna have to tell yourself, look, I can, I'm the best. I can be better. I can be better. I can be good. I can be great. So there's a degree of confidence that's kind of borderline, cocky, because you haven't arrived yet. So
Right, but
that
hear
can
what
be
you're
fuel to
saying
get
though.
you where you're going.
But hear what
You
you're saying.
understand, like there's positive and negative sides to it. Like
No,
hypothetically, if I
but
tell you,
but
if I say, yo, I'm gonna be open in that corner, I'm gonna make that shot. I'm cocky with it, but if I make it, it's a good
right,
shot.
but see. Hold on. All right, let's get back to what he just said. Right,
Go ahead.
the key word that he said, say it to yourself. You understand? Say it to yourself. Because if you go out there praising yourself, right? You go out there saying, you the man. I'm the king. I'm the best. I'm the greatest of all time. You get more haters than people that's actually going to back you up and pass you the ball because you say, hey, I'm open in that corner and I might hit that shot. Now, if you go up there and you say I'm the best to yourself, you know what I mean? And you keep pumping yourself, like he said, to yourself. I don't need to go to coach and nobody else. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because my kids are walking proof of it. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. That's one of the things that I always told my kids, right? You don't praise yourself. You let everybody else praise you. All right? You let everybody else praise you. But you in yourself, when you in your own presence, you say to yourself, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am that guy. I'm that girl. You know what I'm saying? So when you go in there, yeah, your confidence is high. People will see that. You don't have to say it. That's what I'm saying. That's where that stay humble but hungry comes
Guys are saying I'm that guy in their head. I might not never get that shot in the corner.
No.
Listen,
Because they will trust
Because they
you.
want to take the shots. They want to look big in front of the crowd. They want to do these
No, coach.
things.
So you playing ball, right? And you got that confidence and you doing your thing, they doing their thing. right? They're gonna share that rock with you.
They're
You
gonna
understand?
want
It's it's when you are laid back and you're not feeling confident about yourself and you're not doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And you might have those arrogant dudes to where you might have to go to them and say, "Hey, look, man, you don't have to say, hey, pass me the ball." Just say pass the ball. You know what I mean? Because if you say pass me the ball, then that's saying just give me the ball. Nah, you want to say pass the ball and we'll do better. So that way, they, you're not bringing it to just a you and him kind of thing. That give me the ball, even though that's what you want to say. You know what I mean? But you let him know. But you build the confidence. You have that much confidence in self. You know what I mean? And you doing what you do, and he's doing what you do. Yeah, he'll pass you that rock in that corner when you're wide open because he know you're confident that you're gonna hit it. And 9 out of 10, you're gonna hit it.
And then when you hit it, you make him look better.
You make him look better.
And a lot of people don't realize it, but all these sports, man, everything starts in your own mind.
In your
Everything.
own head.
You know, how you feel in the morning when you wake up. You know, that's going to help push and carry you throughout the day. And that starts in your own mind. You know, you developing confidence, you developing, the ability to control your ego. All of that is stuff that's happening inside your own person. You know, that's why we all have to learn and know ourselves. Know thyself. You know, it's a universal principle. So yeah, the more you understand who you are, understand the conversations and the thought processes that are going on inside of your head, yeah, that'll help you stay having better days. That'll help you, be a little bit more consistent. That will help your confidence not become cocky. You know, it'll help your humble not become passive,
I'll tell you a story real quick. And after this, we'll go to the next segment, right? I'm gonna tell you a story, and Ronald knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I might have said it on one of the podcasts, but I'm gonna say it again so I can get you to understand a little bit of where we're coming from, King. There was a guy that came to my kid's school. He was like the number one player in the country, bro. Like this kid was off the chain good. You know what I mean? Had NBA players training him at a very young age. And he was plastered everywhere as the number one player, right? When he started playing with us and we started watching him play, I started watching how the other teams treated him, okay? He wasn't humble at all, right? But the game wasn't basketball no more. These dudes were trying to take his head off. He put a big old dot on his back and said, come at me, because I'm that guy. And let me tell you, they came at him. They came at him to the point where I don't even know where he's at now. I don't even know if he went to college to play ball, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But they came at him so hard. They came at him so hard that I mean, there was games where I thought they was gonna break his neck. You remember what I'm talking about, Ronald?
Yeah,
You
I
don't have to
remember
call names, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
there's a lot of games you would see the player do dirty plays. They're trying to outshine them because they're like, well, you're that guy. I want to be that guy too.
Right.
It was
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad for the kid because, I mean, he really was good at the time. But when you go in there with that kind of an attitude, man, and think you the man, somebody out there is gonna show you that, hey, you're really not that guy. I'm that guy. And yeah, things can end up bad for you. And I think the kid would have been great, but I don't know what happened to him. So that's my little thing on that. And that's why I agree with them talking about being humble and letting let your game do all the talking for you. You know what I'm saying? I think that's big.
So we're gonna get here to segment 5, finding balance as a sports parent.
Well, in this clip, I think we were talking about parents being involved in their kids' lives and stuff. And after you see this, let's just talk about it a little bit. Just find a little bit of balance in the kids, being a parent and being involved. So T, what do you think? What do you think about that whole balance thing?
And it falls back into what we were just talking about, finding that balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, the parent that's not there, I mean, you have to be there. You have to be involved. Parents have to be involved to some extent. You know what I mean? You got to be there to see what's going on and hear what's going on, so that way you can understand what's going on, right? So when your kid have questions or they're struggling in something, they can actually come to you and you can have some type of knowledge, even if you don't know the game. You know what I mean? You can actually figure out, especially with the young ones, when we just teach them strictly just fundamentals of the game. You know what I mean? That's not hard at all. Just the strictly fundamental of basketball is not hard at all for a parent that never played before to pick up. Dribble the ball and how to box out and stuff like that. I mean, that's basketball 101, right? So, you know, be involved to a certain extent, but know when to say that's too much. Let me back off and let the coaches do what they do. You know what I mean? And never, in my opinion, never at practice intervene in what the coaches are doing. You know what I'm saying? Because there could be something that they're doing for a reason. Now, again, if you don't like what the coach is doing, then it's up to you, you know, to stay with that coach or not. You know what I mean? Or have a conversation with that coach after practice. You know what I mean? But never intervene as a parent to question what he's doing. Okay?
Yeah, without balance, man, you out of gas. You know, this world is based on balance. You know, when things are unbalanced, you know, if things are unbalanced inside your body, that's when you start developing ailments. Things are unbalanced inside your mind, mental health becomes an issue. You know, so balance is it's a universal principle, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, again, you know, I think what we were getting at that point was that, you know, we as parents, you know, and I was a victim of it. Like I said, I experienced a lot. So you might hear me say that a lot of different experiences, but I experienced a lot with this basketball thing. And one thing, when I did get started into it, I realized that my boys and my daughter were like really athletic and really good. There was times where I actually put up videos that my kids were the number one player. Yeah, I don't know if you guys see that, but
Yeah,
yeah, if you go to my social media, you'll see it. But I used to put up these horrible films that my kids were the best player in Kissimmee, and you know, got humbled real quick. We went to some, not in a bad way, but we went to some places in Orlando, and these kids were good. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa, okay, my kid is good, but dang, that little jit over there he's all right. You
By
know
the
what I
Smith
mean?
Center.
Yeah, we went to this. Hey, listen, why you messing around? Yeah, we did go to the Smith Center, bro. Listen, they got some ballers over there,
Yeah, get some
yeah.
The
game over
ballers
there.
over there.
You know, so as a parent, I got humbled, man. So I had to find that balance to where, you know, I had to, you know, stay in my lane. I had to, as the kids got older, I had to take my coach's hat off and be a parent. You know what I mean? I had to listen. Even though, even now, I mean, some coaches that I deal with now don't know that I used to do what I do, you know what I mean, or do what I do now. And but I'm still learning, you know. I think having that balance of knowing the game and listening to the game, still learning the game, it will help you teach your kids you know, the principle of, you know, what they need to do to be successful playing this game. You know what I mean, it's tough. It's real hard, especially when you think your kid is the all world, and we all do. You know, we all do. I mean, and the hardest thing to take is constructive criticism.
That's true.
You know, it's the hardest thing as a parent is here, like, look, your kid is not that good.
Yeah, if you don't got your ego in check.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But like, nah, you're right. You gotta have it in check, bro. But sometimes somebody gotta check you with it, you know? Especially when you feel like you having so much success in one neighborhood, you go to that next neighborhood. I'm gonna tell you a story, right? I got a lot of stories. So we was a part of this team, right? I'll call the name of the team because he probably loved this. But we was on a team called True Ballers. AJ was on this team called True Ballers, and that was probably our first real travel ball. Like we traveled everywhere. And all of us parents, we were those parents where, yo, our kids were the best. Am I lying, Ronald?
No, you weren't lying, but they were good.
They were good, right? Those kids were good, right? So we all walked around saying how good we were until we went to the Midwest. We went to, I think it was either Kentucky or I don't know what it was.
Do a lot.
We went to Kentucky, and please forgive me how this sound, right? Because it's gonna sound really bad. But we played against this team, and they had a bunch of little white boys. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna just say what it is. There was just a bunch of little white boys that didn't look like they could play. Here we go. We had all these monster, you know, athletic black looking kids. Them boys ran us out the gym, bro. Not literally, fundamentally. You understand? Like everything that we preach them boys were so fundamentally sound. And we're talking about fourth grade, though. You know what I mean? It was like third, fourth grade, something like that. These kids were so fundamentally sound, passing the ball proper, like setting proper screens. I mean, coach walked out and we was like, yo, we just lost to these dudes. Like, yo, are we kidding? Like, yo, what is up? So it was like, it was just one of those things where it was like, yo, yeah, we had to humble ourselves, like we was just talking about, and we had to go back to the drawing boards and find some balance. You know what I'm saying? We had to find balance to how to get this right. It was crazy, man. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it definitely was crazy. I think Keem not with us right now.
Disconnect. I'm
Oh,
back.
here you go. Here you go.
Here you
I
go.
don't know what happened just now. Literally, I was frozen for a couple of minutes and it just emptied and came back.
Nah, but welcome back, brother. Welcome back. But it's all about being humble as parents too. We talked about it just a minute ago about the kids being humble, but parents got to be the same thing. And like he said, check your ego. But you have to find balance too, far as because again, as coaches and as parents, we were influencing the coaches as well, because every last one of us had studs. And I mean, a couple of those kids now are playing NBA and NFL football, you know what I mean? And college
Mhm.
football.
Yeah.
So that's how good that team was. We really had some studs on that team.
Yeah.
But a lot played into it. A lot played into it,
Well,
you
You ever
know.
had a be humble moment as a parent?
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not easy, to now when you say that, you're talking about like when I just had to like swallow my words or something like that.
Yeah, some toys like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of times where especially when you have a team and they're good, and then another team comes in there and they just outright beat you. That's like I just said, that story. We went out all the way to Kentucky and we I ain't gonna lie, we stereotyped. You know what I mean? We seen all these skinny little white boys thinking that, we got all these, these black kids that are athletic and skilled as crazy. We just got ran off the court just as straight fundamental basketball.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a humbling moment right there. Yeah, we stereotyped. We went up in there thinking, oh, we're gonna run through this thing. And got humbled real quick. Real
Mhm.
quick, and that's a moment you'll never forget because you're like, yo, that didn't supposed to happen. Our boys didn't know how to deal with it,
Yeah.
especially when they were winning. King, we played in like maybe 25 tournaments. And you got to think about 25 tournaments, there's at least 5 games each tournament. And we were winning. So we was playing at least 5 to 6 games a weekend.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's almost 100 games. We got our butts kicked at nationals in Kentucky.
Yeah, we were over like they were like 90-5 or something.
Yeah, dude.
90
Yeah.
and 5 went to Kentucky and went 0-3 or something. Like I think we didn't even win it. Did they win a game?
Yeah, they won a game, man. Don't play them like that now. We weren't that bad. We weren't that bad. I mean, but the one that mattered was the
Oh,
first
and
one
three.
because the first one is the way it dictates where you're at. So you lose that first one, it messes you up. And that's what happened. We lost that first one and we got into the losers bracket and it sucked.
Yeah, losing bracket was just as hard.
Yeah, it was just as hard, but we took it for granted. You know what I mean? Coaches, parents, kids, and we stereotyped, you know. You know what I mean? We got humbled
Yeah.
real quick, real quick. So that was that moment where I learned that you can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, finding balance is very important. And I know the message then was a little different than what we talked about, but it still hits to where you have to know when to do certain things and when not. And as a parent, you have to really, just like running a business or something or doing something as a job, before you could do something proper, you got to listen to what the person's telling you first. You know what I mean? So you can learn and then you can go and do what you need to do. And that's what happens in the game of basketball too. You got to learn before you can go out there and be the professional you can be,
Mm,
you know?
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was we talked about some great segments that we had over the past few months. Definitely had some great stuff. A lot of people viewing it. Just want to get here to our closing segment. So as we look back on these moments, it shows why sports conversations matter beyond the court. These topics touch on family, leadership, humility, recruiting, and the journey through sports. That's what Off the Bench is really all about. With RASI Sports, is all about that. real conversations that impact athletes, coaches, and parents. And also want to thank everyone for watching the Off the Bench podcast, and also continue to watch, share, and support the show. If you haven't already, subscribe also.
Right.
Right, like and subscribe.
Definitely.
Make sure you
Yes,
leave a
sir.
comment
Yes,
about
sir.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure you leave a comment too. Love all that.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Respect to everyone.
Baby, bring your dreams to me, let them breathe, let them rise. If there's something in your spirit that's been calling, don't hide. I'm just here to hold it, shape it. You got gold, let's elevate it. Ain't no rush, ain't no pressure, we can move at your pace. I'm a lover with a vision, trying to take you to that place. Give me a trust, your life, your time. I'll show you how it feels when everything aligns. Let your heart speak real. Tell me what you feel, baby, what you feel. Come on, let's build. Tell me how you feel. Take it and build. We can take it and build. Take it and build. I just wanna show you what's real. I just want you, for you. Baby, how you feel, how you feel. I just want you to feel what you feel, 'cause what you feel is real. Take it and build. Let me show you what's real. Take it and build. Let me show you. Take it and build. Take it and build. Take it and build. Let me show you what's real. Baby, whisper it slow. If there's something weighing heavy, you ain't gotta hold it alone. I'm here steady, I'm here ready for every truth you reveal. We can stack it, shape it, turn your hopes into steel. I just want you open, want you honest, want you free. Wanna see your soul shine like it's meant to be. Tell me how you feel, baby, how you feel. Let's take it and build. Take it down, down, down. Take it and build. Take it down, down, down. Let me show you what's real. I just want you to feel what you feel. I just want you to feel what you feel. Yeah. Take it and build. Take it and build, build. Take it and build. Let me show you what's real. How you feel, how you feel. Take it and build. Let me show you what's real. Let me show you what's real. Baby, how you feel. Take it and build.